Okay, Today we from team Osha. We want to interview some engineer for our assignment one. That was code of professional conduct in engineering ethic. So we introduce ourselves. My name is SIVANESWARAN and my teammate Azam, Andika, and then Nia. And then we intro our engineer. So let's go to the question with the proceed of the Andika can proceed the question first.
Okay, I would like to ask for the first question. Can you tell about yourself, your introduction, and what is your position in the company?
Hi guys. My name is Dinesh Karan. I've graduated from the University of Malaya with a master's degree in mechanical engineering. I'm currently working for YTL Communication, and my current position is Assistant Mechanical and Electrical Manager for Regional Data Center Facilities Operation.
Okay, Nia, can you ask the second question?
Okay, for the second question is, how long do you involve in the engineering field?
I've graduated in 2015 and I got my job in 2015 as well. So this is my seventh year. So I mean, it's been 7 years in this industry.
Oh,
Okay, next, my question is, what are the general criteria should a person have to become a professional engineer?
Um, General criteria. So the moment you have completed your engineering degree, the first thing you should do is register with Board of Engineer Malaysia. So once you register with BM as a graduate engineer, um, you'll be working for a few years lah before you can apply for professional engineer. But the minimum requirement to apply for professional engineer would be 3 years. So in these 3 years time, you need 2 years of general training and 1 year of professional career development. So when you have 3 years with this engineering degree, and also if it's better if you could supervised by the professional engineer as well, and then you can apply for the professional engineer.
okay. The fourth question. Uh, do you think safety is important is an industrial company?
Yeah, safety is important for any industry actually, because
So what uh
workplace safety is important like basically for any industry, especially for industrial industries such as manufacturing, construction, or even in a production line. Safety is definitely important because it involves your health, and as an employer definitely they will emphasize more on the safety.
So the next question I would like to ask, what is your biggest challenge or the critical challenge do you face in your job? How do you handle it?
um, biggest challenge not so recently but a few years back when I mean of course you'll be working in a team, so if some of your team members resigned and you gotta take up that load, it would be really hard for you to do that lah basically. So that's what I faced when two of my colleagues resigned, and then I had to take up their job and also at the same time do my job. And a lot of things at one time is not easy lah basically. So I spoke to my manager and told him that I can't be actually doing three people's job. So we ended up talking about this, and then we seek help from other department to help us out before we could hire someone to come back to the team. So that's one of the biggest challenge I would face lah. So in this challenge I would say you gotta communicate lah basically. If let's say if you need something, you gotta communicate with your superior lah. That's how I would say communication would be the key lah. Yeah.
Okay, for the question 6 is, as an engineer, what are the personal principles that you uphold in pursuing your personal reputation?
Personal principles, I would say honesty and integrity lah. You got to be honest to your work as well as to your company, and then the integrity of your the integrity of your work towards the company. If you're being honest to yourself and to the company, I don't think so there'll be any issues lah. So as a personal principles for personal professional reputation. So yeah, so when it comes to dealing with your stakeholders, your clients, so if you're being honest to them, and there's integrity at your work, so you don't actually copy from other people's work and then submit on your behalf, those things will help to uplift yourself lah, basically in this professional development. Honesty and integrity.
Okay, next for my seventh question is about safety. How do employees understand safety in the company? Does the company conduct specific safety or safety training session at the company?
So in my company, they have this safety policy lah under OSHA Act. So when this policy enforced, so every morning we have actually toolbox safety meeting, which briefs all the employees what are the safety that guys should focused on. It's like basically every morning we have this toolbox meeting lah to all the employees, and there's so since when there's a policy, you gotta comply to all their safety rules, regulations, acts, hazards, and you gotta know where's the what they call it, fire exit. Where's the fire exit? Where's the fire assembly? All these are part of your safety regulations like in your organization. So you won't miss it out because you won't miss it out because every day they keep on repeating the same thing, like become a habit, and you understand more like basically on the safety part. Yeah.
Thanks. If you realize that you have an inadvertently provided false or misleading information, what action you will take?
Um, I would say we shouldn't actually provide any false or misleading information. But if you accidentally have given that, then I think immediately you should confront them and tell them you are unsure about whatever you just said. So please hold on and like let me do more research on these things. So people might give this false information when it's nearing to deadline and you couldn't finish up and you just want to give something to the manager or what or superior. So I would say you gotta confront them and try to try to confront them as soon as possible and tell them the truth before it got out of hand lah, basically. The only way is to confront and communicate to them lah.
Mm, so, as an engineer, what will you do to maintain your competence and how you demonstrate in doing so?
So when you start in a company, there's so many soft skills that you will learn throughout the year, I would say. Soft skills like your leaderships, your communications, your planning, your resource management, uh, and over time your continuous improvement yourself. These things all over time you will learn it when you uh, basically for communications you communicate more with your colleagues and your manager, and for leadership when they given you a task you enhanced by taking up the task and do some research, and then you delegate with your downliners. Your planning, you've learned more on the tools that these guys are using at this industry right now. Like there's a Microsoft Planner, there's a Primavera, things like that. So over time, you learn more skills, and when the task being given to you, you'll do research and try to get it done lah. So that's soft skills. But for a personal competence, it's up to you whether you want to whether you want to enhance in your studies, or there's so many other certifications that you can get to enhance yourself lah. For example, in my competence, I did my masters, so because I can learn more on this mechanical engineering. One thing. Second, I completed my electrical energy manager certification. So in order for me to work on energy saving projects, so in order to do that, you gotta take up the certifications lah. So that's how you enhance your competency. And how do you demonstrate it is, for example, for this electrical energy manager certification, you got to do some energy saving projects lah. The recent one I did was, it could be as simple as changing fluorescent light to LED bulbs, and you can see how many watts you have reduced and how many kilowatt you have reduced, and that could actually bring you save you a lot of money. The recent one I did was changing the motor pump from a static motor pump to a VFD motor pump. So it based on your load. So that's one of the things that I demonstrated like whatever I've studied as an electrical energy manager.
Okay, for the last question is, what will happen if a registered professional engineer approve and signs those engineer document that he has not prepared under his control?
Mm, it's definitely unethical. So they'll be held as an engineer. You gotta be responsible of whatever you're doing lah, basically. So if you sign a document that is not prepared under his control, first of all, I think they'll be legally responsible, and if something happens, not something happens, like they should be fined and probably uh, will be penalized lah. Basically, you cannot sign anything that is not prepared under your control lah, because professional engineer means everything is being solely by this professional engineer. If it's not done by him and it's not being supervised by him, it can cause more damage than what it appears on the document lah. So I would say he should be, most probably will be get fined and penalized lah. Might lose his also his PE yeah, I think that's all, guys.
So, we like to thank Mr. Dinesh Karan. So, before we end this, do you have any advice for us for our future undertaking?
If you ask me, I would say take your time, decide which industry you guys want to pursue in, and also because usually the first job would be like deciding factor lah, basically. You gotta decide first before you guys jump into any industry, and then try to work on yourself up based on that industry lah, I would say. So that's my only advice lah. And I wish all the best
Thank
to
you.
all four of you all.
Okay, thank you. Thank you
Okay,
for the
thank you.
meeting.
No
Thank you for
worries.
the cooperation. Yeah,
All
Thank
right.
you so much for your time.
thank you so much. Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys. Bye.
Okay, take care.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
See you soon. Okay, as we introduce ourselves, we are from
Then,
Institute
Mission
Technician
Malacca.
Malacca. Okay, we
We
want
want
to
to
do
do
some
some
assignment.
assignment.
The assignment one is
Hello.
Hello, from where?
From University Technical Malaysia Melaka.
Okay, alright.
Alright. Okay. We want to do our assignment in OSHA and ethic. So our we want to do some interview to you about the experience in engineering. So we want to have some 10 question like that lah to ask to you, and we want to know the some knowledge about the engineering lah.
Okay, so
Let me introduce ourselves.
Uh-huh.
My name is SIVANESWARAN and MANOKARAN, and then I have a team member ADILQA and Muhammad AZAMUDIN and LEVYNIA. Okay, can you introduce yourself?
So I'm Manoj Chandarao. I'm doing as a project manager for Sigma Elevator. So Sigma Elevator mostly for the elevator, escalator. If you go to mall, you can see the elevator then you go to escalator. So that's why I'm in the installation team. So what I do from the installation team, so from the beginning of the construction, so we will install, then we hand over to the client.
Okay, shall we start? Andika, can you start the first question?
Can,
Okay. Before that, we like your permission for our recording for our submission purposes.
yeah, sure. So what course are you all doing?
So currently,
Uh,
we are studying mechanical engineering in process and technology.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
You.
So for my first question, I would like to ask you, how long do you involve in this engineering field?
Okay, for engineering field, almost 7 years. Starting, I will go to power plant at Mulajaya at Pontian. Then I went to Rico. Rico is a four-step machine, so as a service engineer there. Then I entered to this Sigma elevator. Almost 7 years.
For the third question is what what are the general criteria should a person have to become a professional engineer? Sorry.
Okay, general criteria for a professional engineer. First of all, you need to know what are the demands in the. Now you're going to some one of the company. You need to know what's the expectation that then require them. So from there, you have to build your career up because you cannot go there with say okay, I have everything. You know, once you go there, you need to learn the culture, need to know the company, need to know the scope, what's the safety there, what is the requirement there, what is the important there. So you need to follow that because in my field, safety is number one actually because doing elevator not a simple job. So you have a character to open heart to learn everything, to listen. Starting you need to have an open heart to listen what are your higher management or your superior telling to your supervisor. So your character should be you need to have open heart. Like you need to learn everything. You cannot say, "Oh, I got learned this before. I know this before." No, even though you know, also you should say, "Okay, give me anything I can learn." You should open heart. You cannot like so stress about it.
Okay, our first question is, do you think safety is important in an industrial company?
Actually, yes, safety is very important. Actually, not even though in Malaysia you can say safety is important because we have the CIDB and JKP, which require safety is the first because in FMA in 1957 already the abolished this thing. In 1957, FMA for Factory Machinery Act. So safety is really a big, very important things in the company. So in my company, there's a three important obsolete rules. That is safety, ethic, and we have say safety, ethic, and obsolete. There's three obsolete in my company. So safety is the number one. Everything for my field industry, safety is number one.
okay, sir. What is your biggest challenge or critical in your job? How you handle with that?
Actually, the biggest challenge is not about job, it's actually management people. People management is the biggest, people management is the biggest thing. Even though you meet a four client outcome is same. Just that how you approach them only. Even though you want to say you want the outcome is a cake, how you bake it is all same. But some customer want it sweeter, some customer want to gluten free. So that's how. So the biggest challenge is people management only. You need to know how to manage people.
So before we proceed, I'd like to ask you about the BEM. How long for us to have the certificate?
BEM,
Yes.
BEM actually once you graduate only you can apply already. Once graduate
How
only you
long for
have
the work experience?
how long what?
Do we need how long do we need to work before we get that certificate as a
Actually,
professional engineer?
actually BEM once for me when I apply BEM, so you only have just I just work only I start applying only then they ask you submit your documents everything. Not even the 6 months you can get the BEM certificate already because what BEM is a professional which accreditation from from your universities only. When you're going for your technologies, TS or IR, so then only you have experience, then there will be interviews. BM, you just apply, can get ready. The professional technologies only you need have experience. Then you want to go for the TS, everything you need to apply. Then they have experience. Then they, based on your experience, they will interview you.
Okay, so as an engineer, what are the personal principles that you uphold in preserving your professional reputation?
Okay, my personal principle is never give up. So whatever problems you're facing, so you just don't give up. Don't say, okay, I cannot do this. It's too difficult. I need to jump here. I need to go different company. So you need to adapt yourself. That's my principle. You need to adapt yourself. You need to learn what are the client's requirement, what are the owner's requirements. So you need to know that. So my personal never give up. You just do what you know.
For the question 7 is how do employers understand safety in the company? Does the company conduct specific safety or safety training session at the company?
Okay, for my company, they have there's a three teams. One is installation team, one is a testing team, one is a subcontractor who install. So whenever we want to start the work, like a new subcontractor, we will call them for a normal safety training and product training. So product training means how do you install the product. Safety training is a refresher. Every year there's a refresher. So every time you do a job, so now you want to imagine you're doing a job in KL. So there's a new lift want to install. So you have to have this card validity. So once the validity almost near, we will send them to safety refresher. Product different product. One time only they can master it. But safety refresher every year need to renew. If no safety refresher, because during we start with our job, there's a pre-start. Pre-start means we will install the barricades, we will install scaffold, do scaffold tag. So once the subcom want to go inside, we will call a safety officer to come and validate. So during validation, they will see our safety card, and we will see a FIM card. FIM card means field installation manual card. So whether you're eligible to do this product or not. So that's how we practice in our company. If we bring a new subcontractor or installer, so we will do a safety training. Safety refreshers every year, so that they can renew. So there's a card they'll be having in their wallet now.
Okay. Next question is if you realize that you have inadvertently provided false or misleading information, what action you take?
False or misleading information. False and misleading information. So first of all, before actually, if I realize, so first of all, I will ask my superior, because if I'm starting, imagine I'm in the starting of my career, project engineer. Before I take any decision, you first of all need to ask your supervisor first whether this method is correct or not. Whether maybe your method is correct, maybe it's a shortcut way, but it's a correct way. So you need to follow your supervisor first. So once you learn everything, then you know how to take the decision. So if I have misleading information, so I will straight away I will go ask my supervisor first to get his notice of whether correct or not, whether can be done, whether this will be affected later on. So you need to ask your superior in advance.
Okay, sir. As an engineer, what will you do to maintain your competence, and how your competence and how you demonstrate it's you doing so?
Okay, so far I'm having scaffold tagging level 2. I having competent person. Competent person means meaning I can inspect the lift. So this is called CP under JKB. Then I have a lifting supervisor. So this how competency is. For this competency is no validity. It's one time take only, then you have the validity of lifelong. But how I learn it is, I will go with there's a group, so there's an update every time. I have a refresher, so every updated news, updated updated requirement from JKKP. So from there you read, then from there we will follow everything. If I don't understand, then we directly call the JKKP and ask whether it's correct or not. So competency actually only a certificate that you enter class, you only get competency. And once you go to real life, there's a very different, maybe you learn from the classes, maybe 10, 20%. When you go out there and feel, there's a lot of things you don't know, actually, so you need to come back and ask back the lecturer to teach you whether how to do this. So that's how you will gain your knowledge. You can go any class actually, competency, you can go pay, then you can get the competency. They just give you this is okay, competent. But once you go to the site that you see, you will see why so different, why so difficult. So you will go back to your previous lecturer that give you or company give you the competency and gain knowledge from there. You need to learn from them.
Okay, for the last question is what will happen if a registered professional engineer approves and signs those engineering document that he has not prepared under his control?
Okay, actually, if you whatever engineering document that he already approved it, registered approved, he approved or approvers. Has he approved the document?
Yeah.
Okay, if he already approved the document, so if in the starting, every professional engineer, they will check fully everything. They check thoroughly everything, whether it is in his let's say in his guideline or not. So once done already, the next job, then he will maybe let's say not is under control is because PE design only he can design the thing. Whether how you install, he will come inspect. After once you install already, maybe got some flaws, maybe got some alteration. So he doesn't once the thing alter from his PE design or his professional engineering approval, it is not is under his control already. So the thing not valid anymore. Even though any accident happen, we can't go back to him. So you need to follow exactly as he approved. If he even though he not prepare everything, if you will prepare everything, we will pass to him. He will just see and he will just say acknowledge only. So if not he because he not everything we're going to prepare because PE engineer is quite big scope. You need to see the material, you need to see the design, you need to see the load. So if he never prepare the thing, first of all, he need to feel guilty a bit because sometimes this one is depend on people life also. So that's the matter. Maybe you can pay him. He say okay, Nama, I will bring. I just chop for you, a friend. But at the end, you see whether got any damage. Once that's it. If no problem, all okay. Once got problem, everybody headache. That's why safety comes in. If no problem, everything okay. You see last time when people are doing construction, no any harness, no safety helmet, no safety boots, no anything. But once problem comes, so they revise, they upgrade, then they revise again. That's why the safety comes in. Safety actually quite difficult to follow. You sometimes follow, sometimes you think some simple thing, or you want to move one block from A to B also. Last time you just can carry input, but now once safety in, you need to think what's the load of the block. Then for moving here, what's the safety there? You got safety tripping or not? Whether you will hurt in the future. Now that's the thing. All countermeasure they will measure it in the safety requirements, everything. So did I answer your questions?
Yeah, so that's all from us, the question. But if you can share share some advice for us for our future undertaking.
Okay, actually, mechanical engineering is quite very big scope. So you need to now you're already fourth year, is it? Final year?
Yeah.
Final year. So you already know which industry you want to go in because there's a lot production, there's a manufacturing, there's a construction. Some of my most of my friends, they can't take once they graduate, they once enter to working, they say can't take it, so they started doing insurance, started teaching everything. So you need to know whether you like it. So because what I'm doing now is not engineering at all, it's called management only. I study mechanical engineering, but I'm coming out from the output of the engineering is zero. Now fully is management only. At the one point, you won't use your engineering unless you go for PE, professional engineering. Yes, then you have calculation, everything. I can say around 80% all the mechanical engineering all going to management only. Once you go to production, you will be manage people, manage everything, or management only. You know, like okay, I'm a mechanical engineer unless you are PE designer. So once you are PE design, then you will be what you studied. Then you will study more on what you're designing. So after this, you will be starting to do management only. You will manage people, you will manage finance, you will manage how the safety works. So mechanical engineering just like for our country, just like I say like a gate pass, so they can enter only.
Thank you so much for your time with
Okay.
us.
Okay. Good luck for your futures.
Alright,
So
hope to
take my
see you
advice,
again.
Okay.
never give up. Whatever you do, make
Okay.
sure you love the job lah. Love the job and do it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay, thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, good luck. Okay, bye bye. Good luck.